right, chapter 10 was plan, but don't overplan.
Yeah. We kind of talked about this in our estimating example today, where we overplanned a little bit.
Yeah. Ugh, that was a painful one at the time.
Yeah.
But we would have put. It's not like we could have ever known that, right? I mean, there's a reason we didn't get the job, but it wasn't the Fist Queen's fault.
I've done this before. His example about loading all the batteries and extra frag grenades in his backpack. I've done it going camping before, and then had stuff sit there just the whole time and not get used, and just regret that I brought this stupid thing.
So much stuff.
And it's not camping, it's backpacking, where you're carrying it every day. It's like, oh my God, why did I bring this? Did not need this thing.
Yeah.
That's what flashed in my head. Yeah.
I think that there's that fine line, but of, overcompensating, or, like worst case scenario planning versus likely worst case scenario planning, right?
Yeah.
And he was in like worst case scenario planning. And it's kind of how we're looking at estimates, right? I mean, we're looking at the estimate, trying to come up with some sort of balance between what's the best case scenario, and then what's the worst case scenario, and measuring the likelihood of the latter, right? Of, oh, well, this job, we just know we're going to bleed to death going in and out, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that we do here just about every day. I mean, we're always measuring risk, even though we don't really call it that every day. It's like, okay, well, how likely are we to get through this unscathed? Well, we're pretty likely. Okay, well, then we can go in and be super default aggressive, because there's not much likelihood that we're going to get hurt. Versus, there's a lot of snipers out here on this one. We better suit up. Put some extra help in there. And then the other extreme was not having any contingency plan, or I don't even think it was so much not having the contingency plan. It's just really not listening to experience, right? It was a pretty sharp, drastic contrast to kind of everything else that we've been hearing from this book in terms of planning out missions. To just be completely dismissive of somebody's recommendations. It's like, man, that kind of it ended in exactly what they said it was going to end, right?
Yeah, that
Scotty, are they on?
He's not. I don't see him today. No.
Oh, okay.
that example about charging the hallway, sending shooter team after shooter team just to get slaughtered.
Yeah.
Whereas like maybe you go around and flank the guys. Like if it's kind of what was the concept, like identifying the win, like what is success? What's the thing?
Definition of done.
Definition of done. So if the definition of done is to take out the shooters, doesn't mean go straight at them. Like, yeah, think about other ways to get them and surprise them and take them out. So for us, if we are giving direction to guys in the field, and I've noticed this where I say, okay, do this, I can get super specific, do this, this, and this. But really, maybe there's like, the goal is this, here's a suggestion, but however you get there, certain guys need more specific instruction. But if they know what the end goal is, then we can start developing people to think creatively about it and let them find a way to solve the problem in the field. That's the greater goal, where then you have autonomous crews that can make better decisions on the fly because they're out there, they're seeing what's going on. We're not necessarily.
They're closest to the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was something that I did well at Granite, was figuring out that I was the bottleneck and doing everything I could every day to not be the bottleneck.
Yeah.
And say, okay, I got, I think it was 13 foremen out there every day. Like, you guys, this is definition of done, right? We got really good at what's definition of done. We put together, like work plans and all the things so that it was like, hey, here's where we need to get. Now you tell me what you need to get there.
Yeah.
Right. And so that they did, it wasn't just like, go do this. It was, okay, here's the goal. You look uncomfortable. What do we need to do to address and get you where you need to be? Like, what do you lack?
Yeah.
And, but like you said, that then created a whole atmosphere of people out there making decisions, but they were good decisions because they understood where the goal was. And if there was a slip or something, we communicated enough that we could solve those problems before they became major impacts. So it's a little, I think that's exactly where we are today, is figuring out how to do that with our subcontractors and clients in a way that helps to create value for them. They learn how to go out and execute. And the process is never as easy as it was the last time you did it.
Yeah.
And it's been years. I mean, we haven't had this. I mean, we created this dynamic 2 years ago, so it's a new thing for us to navigate.
Is it kind of a unique thing also?
I'd say, as far as I can see, it's extremely unique. I don't know anybody else who does this. So
Pencil Phelps, they don't do it on a bigger level?
They may do some sponsorships on things, but not like day to day in the weeds like we are.
Okay.
So
You truly are getting
pioneers
and helping the smaller guys learn how to do the bigger things.
Yes. And sometimes the most basic of actions are completely new to them.
The front end work that Hensel Phelps is doing, I think what Tom's talking about is if they create a bid package, they're going to make it, if they have the ability to, they're going to make it super clear. Like, okay, there's this many square feet of concrete, maybe not all the time, but it's like this many square feet of asphalt, this many lineal feet of this type of fence, and they're going to give everyone this framework to bid so that when they get numbers, they're all in the right bucket and they can line up the spreadsheet and go boom, boom, boom. Okay, what's your mobilization? What's this? What's this? What's this? And so they'll have takeoff engineers go in and create these bid packages, send them out, and that helps. That saves a lot of time in bid analysis when you have everyone submitting in oranges rather than apples, oranges, and blueberries.
Pears.
Yeah. And a banana.
Is that what you guys are getting? A whole bunch of fruit?
We
Cornucopia?
if we get if we get it, it can be all over the place.
That is why we do a narrative on all of our proposals, though, to explain what it is we're including.
Yeah.
What we don't do as well as we could is the scope letter, which is essentially the narrative that goes along with the bid items. We're generally putting those things together at the end versus the beginning.
But if we get this, Keaton said we can develop this workflow. If we can get an agent that can write the scope letter right after Jared's exported a takeoff into Excel. And because it's going to build it off of those items for the most part. Obviously, there's going to be some massaging, but that would be huge. Then we'll have the scope letter when the takeoff's done.
Yeah.
And it can go out. It's like, and what's good about getting the scope letter out, he made a good point. Like, it stimulates the conversation. The first thing Tommy said was huge. It's communication. That is what makes me feel good about working with someone. When they answer their phone and they're responsive, I'm like, okay, with subs and with the GC, goes both ways. It's like with anyone in general. It's like, so if you can give them, here's where we're at, it gives them a chance to come back and say, make sure you get this, this, and this. And then while we're finishing our estimate, you've got a better idea of what they're expecting. There's no last minute day of the bid. Hey, throw this in, throw that in. It's already been kind of worked out up front.
Yeah, and another thing he said too was, the first one through the door gets to set the pace for the rest of the subs, right? So, but so the final part of this chapter was about contingency plans and the company who was super aggressive on their growth plan, but hadn't built in any contingencies. And what he said that resonated with me was that the COO, who was the one who was like kind of wanted to pump the brakes, as he told, okay, you develop the contingency plan and present it. Don't expect the CEO to develop this contingency plan because you're worried about something like that. Take ownership of that and make work up the chain versus down the chain.
Yeah.
So I thought that was another good way of spreading out the workload, right?
And yeah, when you put out a problem, come up with a solution.
Yeah, I used to say that all the time. Man, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions, right? Like, I've got this plate and it's full of fucking problems, and when you guys come in here and you want to dump shit on top of that plate, you're not helping. Like, yeah, I need you guys to come in here and take something off the plate. Like, find one of those problems and solve it. Yeah. And a lot of times, even if it wasn't a good solution, at least it was a solution. They got moving, right? Versus just sitting and getting stuck in a quagmire.
Well, they're thinking about it and they're communicating, and it stimulates the conversation. You go, oh, well, how about we do this? So at least it's progressing.
Yeah.
Conversation.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time out of the equation.
And it's like the mindset of I have a problem compared to here's what we could do. Even if it's wrong, there's a positivity shift there. Well, where they're actually thinking of how to solve the problem. So like there's that energy of like going towards the goal rather than up.
Yeah. I'm done. I can't get past this. I think Martell has that. I want to say it's like the 1-3-1 rule or something where he's like, okay, don't come talk to me until you've identified the problem, identified 3 solutions. Tell me the one that you think we ought to go to.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of thing, right? It's like, all right, so you identified the problem, 3 solutions, and then tell me which one you think is best.
Yeah, don't come talk to me till you talk to Claude.
Yeah, don't come talk to me till you talk to Claude. So.
I'll take Claude first when.
Awesome. Well, I think figuring out the AI steps is going to be huge for us, and that those are things that we can use to create value for Brett, right? Like we can spend 5 minutes in Claude and come up with something that we can then hand to Brett. For Brett, it's worth it's worth thousands, right? It's worth
a week.
Just imagine the agent, like each agent, taking a extra work tag and giving it to Claude and having it form it up in our spreadsheet, our extra work spreadsheet. Like,
oh
my God.
What if we took here's a wild thought. What if we took our estimate downloaded it to Claude.
Yeah.
With a schedule, and then Claude became the dispatcher, right? So based on your estimate, these are all the people and all the tools you need for this. Basically creates the checklist for a guy to go through and go, oh yeah, I need all these things.
Yeah, I wonder how good Claude is at Microsoft.
I have the same thought. I wrote that down.
The other thing that would be really helpful, and I think we're done with book club now, so we can shut off book club. First rule of book club.